I ignored my family after they excluded me from Christmas.
Well, I would too. Sounds like they're bullies.
For context, I, 29 female, have not been on great terms with my family for a long time. My mom has spent most of my life doing everything she can to tear me down. And as of now, I haven't spoken to her in almost 3 years. By the way, this comes from Snorgum. Ew.
Ew.
And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/okstorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
And I'm Savannah.
I'm Riley.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you do in the comments. And OP says, I've got an okay relationship with my brother, 32 male.
Hey.
That's all you can ask for.
Okay.
OP.
Okay.
I work with my brother too. And I love my dad. Me too. Not your dad. I don't know about your dad.
I love their dad.
Even though he enables my mom and never stands up for me because he doesn't like to rock the boat.
Ooh. Well, should have read that first.
Until a few months ago, I lived pretty close to my parents, but I recently moved across the country and I don't have any friends or family anywhere near my new home. I love holidays and celebrations, but no one else in my family does. When I was younger, they used to make fun of me or get frustrated when I would try to be festive around Christmas, and eventually I stopped trying. I'm sorry. When you were younger, so you were like a little 8-year-old and you were like, it's Christmas. And they're like, look at this dweeb. Look at this little 8-year-old thinking that Santa's real. Loser.
Ooh. Idiot.
For the past decade, my family hasn't done anything for any holiday. How old is OP? OP is 29.
3.
So since you were 19, that's so sad. However, my brother...
Worms. You're gonna kiss.
Savannah, lock in.
Sorry.
However, my brother, who lives in a different state, got divorced a couple years ago, and his ex took their house.
Oh.
So my parents bought a duplex in his town so that he could live on one side with my 4-year-old niece, and they could live part-time on the other. They still have their house in my hometown that they live in most of the year, but the last 2 years, my parents have gone up to stay in their side of the duplex for the whole month of December, and they've celebrated Christmas with my brother and niece. Last year, they didn't even tell me that they were going. Oh, so now niece comes along and they'll celebrate Christmas with whoever.
Yeah, what's
They
wrong
got
with them?
favorites. They got people they prioritize.
I am aghast. I found out from my dad's Facebook. It hurt that they decided to celebrate Christmas all together and didn't even tell me. They're just a bunch of Grinches.
Why don't they like her?
Why don't
they like
you?
OP? What's wrong with her?
But I shook it off. This year, though, they did it again. My dad called me on Christmas Eve and told me how much fun they were having as a family, then asked me what I was doing for Christmas. Evil. I don't love your dad. Your dad sucks.
Yeah, I take it back. Hated him from the beginning.
Imagine calling your daughter and being like, we're having so much fun at Christmas. What are you doing? Alone. Like a loser. Sorry, I actually have to go because I'm doing fun Christmas things.
Still believe in Santa Claus, idiot.
These people are awful.
Yeah, they're horrible.
I don't know anyone in my new city, and my family is all celebrating Christmas without me. I'm going to give you actual good advice. Go do some community service.
Yeah.
It's honestly the best way. You get to be with people. You get to do a good thing. My cousin and my aunt do that every Christmas.
What do you do every Christmas?
I celebrate with my family.
I lay down and take naps.
Monsters, both of you.
So sorry. He paused like he didn't consider that, then quickly got off the phone. He later sent me a selfie of them all together saying, Merry Christmas from Brother's State.
No.
I didn't answer. Actually, I stopped answering at all. My dad and I usually talk 2 to 3 times a week to check in, but he's called me once and texted me twice, and I haven't answered since Christmas Eve, 7 days ago. I've also not been posting on my socials, and given that I'm not answering him or posting and I'm all alone in a city far away, he really doesn't know if I'm alive or not. This is sad. He texted me yesterday saying, please tell me if you're okay. Obviously not, Dad. You
ruin Christmas for me every year. You think I'm going to be happy about it?
And I haven't responded. I know it's petty, but I'm really hurt that I wasn't even thought of for the family holiday. Even if I was invited, I probably wouldn't have gone just because I don't want to be around my mom. But being left out entirely really hurts. Having them rub my face in it with their selfie is even worse. I've been ignored by my family for my whole life, and I'm tired of trying. I don't know how to say this to my dad, and I don't want to talk to him until I know what to say. Am I the a-hole by maintaining my silence? There was no conclusive vote on am I the a-hole, but most comments, blah, blah, blah. Update! There is an update! Alert, alert! 10 months later.
Oh, gosh.
However,
dude.
we're going to pause.
It's a wrap, man.
I think you got to find a new family.
Yeah. You can buy those somewhere, right?
I think so. Rent a family. New movie.
No, but I want to own it.
Oh, you could rent to own.
Okay. Okay.
If you do well enough at convincing them that you're cool, maybe they'll stay there free of charge.
How
Mhm.
fun if we all got rented out.
There's a movie about this.
That sounds more weird.
They do it in Japan.
You rent family?
There's a brilliant movie with Brendan Fraser that just came out recently.
Is it No Other Choice?
No, it's rental family.
Rent
just
Oh.
said that.
family.
It's about renting a family.
Interesting. Okay.
Anyway, also, No Other Choice, I think, is set in Korea. Update!
Don't cancel
Uh-oh.
me. I got the place wrong.
Uh-oh.
My bad, everyone.
10.5 months later. I didn't think my post from last year was that interesting, but a surprising number of people have asked me for an update, so here it is. It was too sad to not have an update. I needed to get better. After a couple weeks of radio silence, I followed some good advice from my original post and texted my dad to tell him it hurt my feelings that they left me out, and he half apologized, and life went on. A lot of people pointed out that while my family was toxic, me ignoring my dad was also pretty toxic. And they were right. My family is super passive aggressive, and that is the only way I'd ever learn to handle conflict. And to answer some more comments, I have been in therapy for about 6 years. And after last Christmas, I started working with my therapist on how to do healthier confrontation. It's still not something I'm super comfy with, but I'm getting better. I've also made a good number of friends in my new
right.
city.
There you go.
Love it. And I'm doing pretty well, all things considered.
Oh, that's so nice. Moving here, I'm glad I had a good friend group.
Yeah.
But
you
find
had
a
a
little
built-in
hobby.
one.
Yeah. I had a built-in one. That is true.
Yeah, that's how it was for me with Sam. But then you kind of branch off.
You do.
Start making your own.
I had my sister, and I was like, well, I hate all them. What do I do?
So
Bro,
messed up.
I hate to say it, but I could see it.
We're both very different people. So,
Yeah.
I mean, her friends are great, but, you know, when we get in fights, they'll always automatically take her side. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, now I don't like you guys.
Well,
Well,
they're
now
biased.
you have
Yeah, exactly.
your own friends.
And now I have my own friends to
You have
take my side.
Sophia. She's
My
all right.
bestie's always going to take my side.
Really?
No.
Every-
All right,
no,
I'll jump off a
I
cliff.
always will take your side. But I will tell you when you're wrong.
Yeah, she would.
With my family, at the end of the day, nothing has changed. They didn't really acknowledge my 30th birthday in spring, and most recently, when I invited my dad to my grad school graduation next year, he told me that he couldn't commit to it right now because he's waiting to see if something that he'd rather do comes up.
Stop. He did not
Oh.
say that.
He didn't say the last part, but he
Oh.
did say he couldn't commit, which is crazy. That's your father.
Oh!
I don't know. I'm not going to commit right now. There might be something that comes up that I'll have to do.
Like
I don't know.
what?
I like to keep my day free in a year
Yeah,
in
Randy,
advance.
Randy might want to go golf. I don't know.
I was
Yeah.
thinking
We're going on
maybe I'd
vacation.
go on a walk that day. I don't know.
Might get a call.
Keep
Who
my
knows?
options
Might
open.
get a call.
My brother said he'd come, but he's already gone from a yes to a maybe. You are asking them a year in advance. So I don't have high hopes. By the way, I hope that you listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
I mean, I think your family's horrible, and they always have
Yeah.
been. So
Yeah.
hopefully you get out of there and you have friends now that you can have like a friend's Christmas or like, you know, stuff like that to like celebrate holidays so that you're not all alone with your, you know, miserable family on wherever they are. But yeah, seems like you found your group, found your people, OP, and they're not your family, which is great.
Agreed. Your family stinks.
Can't choose your family, but you get rid of them.
Sure
But you can choose
Sure
not to
can.
talk to them.
The good news is that it finally hurts less because I have more or less given up on having a real relationship with them.
In this scenario, is it better not to have hope?
I guess so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's just a letdown every time. That's
Tough.
what OP has been through this whole time. It's just a big letdown all the time. That's exhausting.
Yeah. I'm never going to be loved or cared about by them the way I want to be. Ouch. And I've come to accept that. As of now, I have no plans for Christmas this year, but it's okay.
Dude, ask one of your friends.
Yeah.
They'll adopt you.
Yeah. Just say, hey, what are you doing for Christmas?
Yeah,
Can I
just be
come
like, I'm
over?
not really doing anything, but like,
My
if you-
family sucks.
I can bring like some pigs in a blanket.
My family sucks, but I'm really lucky in my friends, and I'm grateful for that. And some comments from Quats5555. You're ignoring them is only toxic if you're doing it as a punishment. If you're doing it for self-preservation, it's wise. Talk with your therapist about this. Opie says, if I'm being honest, it was more or less 50-50 self-preservation and punishment. It's something I've worked on in therapy since last Christmas, though. Reiselfson says he told me that he couldn't commit to it right now because he's waiting to see if something that he'd rather do comes up. Sweet baby pickles.
Sweet baby pickles.
Sweet baby pickles.
I'm
Opie
saying that.
says, to be fair, I am paraphrasing there, and that wasn't verbatim. His reasoning was more like, well, XYZ might happen, or ABC might happen around that time, or we're going to go on a vacation at some point too, so I have to factor that in. Or you could just factor the graduation in and then say, oh, can't go that day because I'm busy. Still basically the same thing, but less blunt. Ness18518 says, this is a sad update. So nothing has changed, and you're still sad about it. SMH. You need to cut these effers off already. OP says, unfortunately, for those of us with feelings, it's not that fast and easy to just get over something like this. There's a lot of grief to navigate when it comes to accepting the loss of a family, even if what I'm grieving is just an idea. The update is that nothing has changed with my family, but that I'm finally okay with it and am moving on. That's about as good as it gets. Not sure what else you want. And the Woolio says, if you have available time, this is what I said, may I recommend volunteering for a local charity related to Christmas? I said that. There are a lot of them that do toy shops, food for families, etc., where you may find a lot of joy if you love Christmas. And it could also be a great way to meet new people you have something in common with. Opie says, I'm not sure if I'll have time this year because I'm in the trenches of my grad program. But this is an excellent idea, and if I can't do it this year, I'll look into it in the future. And that's the end of the story.
So nothing
Lovely.
changed, but at least she feels less sad about it.
I think so. Has come to,
Yeah, just kind of accept it.
Yeah.
And hopefully move on from it.
I hope you
That's
have
hard.
at least better friends.
Yeah. I hope you just find a group, honestly.
Yeah.
Me too.
I remember moving here. One of the things that helped me a lot was my basketball thing
Yeah.
because
get a
I was able
hobby.
to have somewhere that's consistent. I know I'm going to see these people multiple times a month or so.
Mhm.
And just like a touch point,
Yeah. Mine was rock climbing.
Rock climbing? Really? Really?
I
Wait,
met
you've
a lot of people in
Always rock climbing? How long have you been rock climbing?
Since
A year.
yeah.
A year?
A year. And that's when I found my group, was like a year ago. I've been here 2.5 years, but the first year was actually horrific. And I contemplated moving back to Ohio for a really long time because I was like, oh, but then I was like, what would people think of me?
So
And I was like,
really, it's all based in you.
so really, it's all Sophia. Sophia did it.
You're welcome.
It's all on her.
But then if you think about it, it's actually Greg. So it really all comes back to Greg.
It really goes back to Greg put a gun to my head and said, you will stay and be in my sketch group. And I said,
Yeah.
all right, I guess that's a compliment.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, you're saying I'm funny. I'll take it.
Sure.
Well, sure.
But we've got another story.
My daughter lied just to get on a school trip.
Was it a fun school trip?
Better have been. So I, 34 female, and my husband, 35 male, have a daughter, Iris, 13 female.
What? You don't like irises?
Bad history.
Uh-oh.
That's my ex's name.
Yeah, I remembered. After I said it, I remembered.
Well,
So this girl's automatically the a-hole.
Yeah,
she's
the 13-year-old. It's your fault.
just wanted to go on a school trip. We are honestly not well off at all and get by with lots of sacrificing and budgeting. Still, we do our best to make sure Iris has all the extras she needs. We buy her art supplies, we pay for her to go out with her friends, etc., etc. All within reason. I'm willing to give more details on this if needed. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Money Trip. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/okstorytime subreddit. I'm Savannah.
I'm Sophia.
I'm O'Reilly.
And we are here to give some good advice goofily. But we do not have all of the answers. We'd only tell you what we would do in this situation. But we would love to know what you would do in the comments. As OP says, Iris's school does school trips every once in a while. She has one coming up, an overnight trip to our nearby city where they can see the sights and visit historical monuments.
Sick.
Never have I ever been on a school trip that's been like overnight.
Oh, I did one on a ship.
On a ship?
Mm-hmm.
What, like the Queen Mary?
No.
Oh.
We went overnight on a ship about an hour south from here and pretended like we worked on the ship. And I picked the best option. Everyone else had to do a night shift, which involved 2 hours where they had to be completely silent and just look out at the sea because we were docked. And I picked galley crew, which just meant I woke up at 5 a.m. and I got the best food. It was great. I had a great time.
I could not last 2 hours just staring.
I know.
And
Yeah,
not
you
talking.
probably couldn't.
You couldn't talk, and we were 10.
Oh.
I mean, no, we might have been 12, but regardless.
Can you be like, oh, what's that?
No.
And then the other
They-
person's like,
they
oh,
got
that's just
yelled at.
water.
They got yelled at
By
if they
who?
talked by the teachers and by the
They
the
got
people
slapped with
working.
fish.
Maybe
like
they
the
should have got that
parents.
thing out of their butt, that stick.
I
Yeah,
know.
they probably should have got that out.
Thing.
My mom went on the trip with me. It was fun.
I went to Washington, D.C. with my dad.
I was gonna go. We were supposed to go to Washington, D.C., but then there was a bomb threat, and so we didn't go. And I was like, okay, we're the only ones who didn't go. Guess what? The
No
bomb
one-
never landed.
No one else was scared of the bomb.
Guess what? No one got bombed. Who? I am not being specific on purpose. However, it does cost quite a pretty penny. When Iris told me about this and asked for the money, I told her we were very sorry, but we did not have the money for it. She seemed quite upset, so I told her maybe the three of us could put our heads together and think of a way to raise the money before the deadline for the trip.
Smart.
I was thinking maybe a bake sale or something. Perhaps she could sell some of her art or do commissions. She huffed at me and told me she would get the money herself and just walked away.
She gonna steal the money?
Okay, 13-year-old.
Is she gonna pull off a heist?
She probably knows how a credit card works.
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh.
Well, I do now. I didn't at 13.
How long did it take you to figure out a credit card?
I don't know. There wasn't like a point in my life where I'm like,
Credit card.
I just like broke my finger just now.
I heard
Anyone
that.
that was bad.
No,
Ow.
but when did you get one?
Savannah
when I
hasn't
was
even figured out how to snap.
16. I think when I was 16, but like I could only use it for like specific things.
That makes sense.
And I never use a credit card. I mean, I have one, but I never
Really?
use it. Yeah, people are like, you should use it. You should use it.
Yeah,
But
you
I
should
just-
build up your credit.
Well, I did for like that entire. My mom like would put one in her name and my name, build
you
up
have to
the credit,
keep building up
and
credit.
then yeah. Well, see, I just don't because I it makes me scared. I don't know. I just rather just take it right away.
You just have to pay it off.
It scares me.
You could pay it
There's
off
like-
right away.
Yeah, there's like actual things that are a debit and credit card. So like if you have the money, it acts like it's a credit card, but it's actually a debit card.
You should definitely work on your credit because that's how you get other things like cars and houses.
But see, I just want to pay it all right there.
You can.
Yeah,
you
you
could
can.
buy something and then immediately pay it off.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know. Like whenever you pay rent, you just pay your
Yeah.
credit card at the same time.
I've avoided paying rent for 28 years of my life.
Good for you.
I know,
Well,
look at me.
that's good to end.
Here is where I may have made a mistake. I did not follow up with her at all. Honestly, it slipped my mind, and I work long days, so it was not really a priority, especially since she did not bring it up again. I guess I just assumed that she had given up and decided not to go. I did still set aside a small portion from my paycheck just in case she was working on something, even though I did not really expect anything. But 2 days ago, she came up to me and told me she had the money. I was shocked and confused and firstly assumed she must have sold some of her things, and I was ready to scold her about not talking to me first. But the reality was worse.
Uh-oh.
I asked her how she got so much money, and it turns out she literally went and begged to everyone she could.
Oh, dang. Oh, that is pretty embarrassing for you.
Oh. Her friends, parents, her art teacher, literal people on the street.
She was busking, but I guess just begging?
Ow.
Maybe she pulled out a little.
Yeah, was she at
Guitar.
least entertaining?
Yeah, she was like, please, please, please give me money.
for my trip. You know,
Please,
I don't give money to
please.
people begging unless they perform.
That sounds messed up.
What? No, it's not. It's like you do something for me, I do something for you.
That does
Savannah,
sound messed up.
Entertain me, they're gestures.
That sounds messed up. It
Honestly,
keeps getting worse.
I like that. I might have to do that.
Whoa.
Right?
I don't
If you're
agree
just
with
gonna stand
this.
there and hold a sign and I have to feel bad for you, I want to look away. I'm scared. But if you're like juggling, I'm like, oh my God, here's my money.
Time out.
That sounds messed up.
Do you carry cash though?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay. Well,
Because I do babysitting on the side, they usually pay me in cash. So I usually have
that's fair.
a good amount.
I don't agree with that morally.
I think. Well, do you carry cash?
No.
When's the last time you've handed out anything?
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
but
So
I don't
maybe-
agree with handing out.
Maybe you should like look out for those opportunities where people are performing on the side of the street and give them some money.
If
Yeah.
I carried cash, I would.
If
but
they're
I
like
don't carry
performing and then
cash.
like they get paid for it, they're gonna be like, oh, wait, I can get paid
Yeah,
to do
it's a
this.
oh
cycle.
my God, I was just with Savannah and there was a man playing an accordion and she did give him money.
If you're doing something talented, I'm going to reward you.
I gotta
Everyone
start
should be
carrying
rewarded for
cash.
doing art.
I don't carry cash because I don't like carrying cash. It makes me scared.
It's just like, you know, you can just give me a compliment and I'll give you $10. Like, I don't know.
I'm sorry, Sophia. That makes me remember that one time I asked if you wanted 10,000 in cash or
No,
10,000
I don't
in a
want.
check,
That's too much in cash.
and she thought it was gonna be a duffel bag
yeah,
of cash.
I thought I was getting a briefcase of cash.
How fun.
Apparently, I was just getting a stack of cash.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, not that much.
Scary.
not as cool looking.
What am I gonna put that?
Scary.
Buy a safe.
I wanted a briefcase.
Yeah.
She apparently told them we were extremely poor and could not pay for her trip, which is not true.
Well, you couldn't pay for it.
Well, not okay. So she exaggerated
Yeah.
and put extremely on it.
And that's called using your words in an effective way. That's called, what is the word?
Using your money in an effective way.
That's called marketing. There we go.
Yes, sure. We are not in poverty. We keep her as comfortable as we can. She has never had to worry about meals or the heat turning off. She just guilted them all into giving her money. What?
Oh, Russell W. Boss says,
Oh.
thank God Sophia's here. The show's moral background.
Why would that not be moral?
Thank you for the $5.
Huh? See,
Yeah.
we're performing. You're giving money.
Yeah, but we're not begging.
Hypocrite.
We're performing. We're entertaining. We're actually contributing.
Well, if someone's playing the guitar, technically they're not begging. Their case is just open. You can just do something if you want. Not saying, give me money. Well, maybe they could be.
They
but-
could be
No,
saying
they're not.
that.
They're not.
I need $1. $1 is what I need. That's a song.
Could be.
I ain't saying she a gold digger. They could be singing that.
I was appalled and extremely embarrassed and told her that was completely unacceptable and she had to give all the money back and that she was not going to use that money to go on the trip. I wanted to say she could not go at all now, even if she got the money in an acceptable way, but my husband said that was a little strong. He fully agrees with me on not using the money she pretty much stole, though, and when she went crying to him about it, he sided with me fully. She started crying and shouted at me that the deadline was a week away and that she could not get the money again in just a week. I told her that was really sad. And maybe if she had made a plan with me weeks ago, we would have been able to get the money. But for now, she has a week to come up with it. She stormed upstairs to her room and has been sulking since then.
I feel like she's gonna rob a bank. I think it's only gonna escalate.
I hope. My 13-year-old robs a bank. How fun. I'd be like, good for you.
Yeah, update. My 13-year-old
Philanthropist.
just came to me and she robbed a bank.
My 13-year-old robbed a bank. Am
Honestly,
I the a-hole?
That's surprising if they get away with it too.
Yeah.
That's
She's just so
pretty.
good.
Like you're onto something in this
I
day
know.
and age. Come on.
She's already raised
You
the
can do
money
it.
herself.
Give him the puppy dog eyes.
Yeah.
So am I the a-hole for telling my daughter she could not use the money to fund her trip even though she came up with it herself?
No, she needs to learn that she can't just go beg people for money. But maybe you as the parent should have worked with her a little bit
Yeah,
prior.
dude. This sounds like a. Oh my gosh, what is that? Tell Beaver? Tell it to Beaver or Dennis
Tell
the
it to
Menace?
Beaver?
Who's
This feels like a Dennis the
Yeah.
Menace kind of moral lesson.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Dennis, you can't just beg people for money
You
on
have-
the street.
You have to work for it.
It did specifically say she was begging people on the street, right? I didn't just make that up.
Okay, so what's the difference? Let me quiz your
Let
mind.
her cook. Let her cook.
Let me cook your brain
Okay,
for
okay.
a second. What's the difference between begging for money and doing a bake sale?
Begging for money,
I know the answer.
you're not I mean, you don't have you're not providing
A product.
a product.
Oh, you're not providing.
Yeah.
The satisfaction of a good smile.
Usually when you are begging for something, it's because you don't have the means to provide a product.
So it's better to provide a product. So then,
But you don't have the means to provide the
Oh.
product.
well, but I'm saying, actually now I'm just coming up with ideas to beg for money, and I shouldn't. I have money. But now I'm thinking like,
It's not a good look if you go around for our company, if you're like, I gotta beg for money now.
I'll give you a nice little wink.
That was a terrible week.
I have a sty in my eye.
You might get a wrong impression from that.
Yeah.
Aw, they're gonna think I'm swifty with my ways. They're gonna think I'm a little swifter.
What are the comments?
Comment number 1. OP, the first 18 years of your child's life are an audition for the role you'll play in their adult lives. That's
Wow.
that's like, what do they call that?
I don't know.
Philosophical. There it is. Got to it. Took me a little time. Philosophical. I have a feeling you're not going to get the part you want. I think you owe your daughter an apology.
Whoa. I don't know if I completely agree with that person.
I mean, I would, if I was in this situation, I'd be
Yeah.
like, okay, good for you for finding out a solution to get money, but
Bad
going
solution.
forward, you cannot do this because you're
Yeah.
technically lying, because we do have money. We just can't do it right this minute.
Yeah. I am telling her that she needs to return all of that money. Because that,
No, I keep it.
What? If you, I don't think that's a
she
good
did it
lesson.
her way.
Yeah, but she was begging people.
I would just tell her not to do it again. I'd be like, okay, you can't do it again. And then if she does it again, then there's consequences.
Personally, I would tell her she had to give it all back. But that's just my parenting. And
I'd be
Savannah's
like,
got a
"Did you
totally
juggle?"
different technique. Did you juggle?
Did you juggle or sing?
I think she has to go back and juggle for all of them.
Yeah, just be like, okay, my mom wants me to.
God, my mom wants me to juggle again.
Can I keep your $5 or what?
Yeah. Did you like it?
Comment number 2. So basically, you're punishing your daughter because you failed as a parent.
Oh my gosh. These comments are so much harsher than I expected.
OP says, call it that if you want, I guess. No wonder America's literacy rate is so low. I am not disagreeing that I should have followed up with her.
I agree.
However, she's almost in high school and should know to follow up herself as well, especially when it's something that's so important to her. The reply says, I should have followed up, but she's almost in high school. You're a fully grown adult, by the way. And she should follow up since it's so important to her. She should have known better. She should have talked to me. Jesus effing Christ, you hear yourself?
I don't understand this line of thinking, but okay then.
I mean, I don't think that
I don't think OP is in the wrong.
yeah, I don't think OP is in the wrong for wanting to teach your child no, you
Yeah.
can't just beg for money when that's technically lying. That's how
Yeah.
I see it. It's like lying.
I think,
you
yes,
shouldn't
she
do that.
should have followed up with her, but I don't fully agree with these comments.
Yeah, I think if what if the daughter came up and was like, hey mom,
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask people for money, is that cool? Then she'd probably be like,
No, let's not do that.
OP responds, I'm going to be fully honest here since I'm kind of sick of having kid gloves on. I do not believe this part specifically was solely or even majority my fault, considering this was so important to her, and I genuinely don't doubt that. I'm shocked she didn't follow up with me. I told her, let's make a plan. She said no and went off on her own. I am not saying that blame is completely absent from me, but when you work 80 hours a week, things slip your mind. I don't understand why this is so difficult for people to get. Following up was partly on her, since this was a very big deal for her, and I'm shocked that people think the blame is 100% on me for not chasing down my almost high schooler to figure out a plan that works for her. The trip is important to me because it's important to her. I have no other interest in that. Edit. Since people are missing this, if she had just said we could not afford the trip and asked for donations, I would have been okay with it, even if I still did not think our financials should be public knowledge like that. She did lie and guilt people by telling them we could not afford dinner many nights, so she went to bed hungry.
Oh my God. Yeah, you need to give that money back because
Okay.
people are going to be showing up at your door with like cans of food.
Yeah, lasagna.
Yeah, they're like, we
And
heard,
lasagnas.
and we just feel so bad.
Okay, if she lied about like, we're living in squalor, then
Yeah.
yes, I'd be like, okay, you cannot tell people that because that's a big deal. People are going to show up to her house.
Yeah.
CPS might be called on me now. Like that is a bigger deal than just.
Isn't there an episode of Malcolm in the Middle where the kids,
Yes.
one of the kids lies and
Yes,
then they have Dewey lies and then they start having a
and then
whole
they start
like,
having a whole
food
thing, and then the dad
drive.
gets involved because he
Yeah.
found out, and he's like, no, but then he sees all the stuff they're getting. They're like,
Yeah.
okay, well, wait.
Your daughter is Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle.
I love that episode.
Malcolm in the Middle is such a good show.
Oh my god, just like watched it for the first time like last year.
Good. Oh my
Amazing.
gosh.
Cannot wait for the reboot.
Yeah.
And that we could not afford new clothes for her, so she often wore the same clothes for years at a
Oh my
time.
God.
And that we had not paid for any hobbies or extracurriculars.
Wouldn't they know? Well, I guess if they're random parents, but I feel like if they were parents of her friends, she'd probably be doing extracurriculars with their children.
Okay, so this
These
girl's
parents
just
are gullible.
completely lying.
Yep.
Yeah, and
See?
she's good at it.
Okay.
Because of the name.
Hey, Ming Ming says.
Every
That's true.
iris is a liar.
Hey, Ming Ming says, that's not begging, that's a scam. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
pulling a scam.
Yeah.
She's working
Yeah.
a con, says Cowbot is God. If the Marks were dumb enough to fall for it, that's on them.
Like, if she's saying these things, how does she look? Does she look like, I guess, dirty? A little
She
like.
put on some makeup.
Yeah, she rubs a little dirt on her face before she goes up to these people.
She rolled in mulch. And
Because,
then
dude, when we were in France, there were people on the side of the road begging for money. But, like, this dude wore, like, a nice button-down shirt and pants. And it looked like he just came from his house.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Then I'm like, wait, this guy actually looks good. Maybe I shouldn't give him money. Like, you want them to look bad, but like you feel bad when they do, and then it's like, oh my god, I'm so confused. Somebody help me. Do I give money or not?
What a moral conundrum.
That's why you must perform. It clears up
And that's
the
why I
lines.
perform. That's why I became a performer. So I can feel good about making my money. I am not denying we are not well off, but we are not poverty stricken like she implied. Of course, the trip is not denied because she told people we cannot afford it. It is denied because she lied to people to get them to give her money.
Oh my gosh.
Dang.
I gotta know.
Yeah, I
like,
gotta know.
Yeah,
how
there's
this
a-
goes down.
There's an update. So I had a sit-down discussion with my daughter after work today. I thought she was still going to be upset about the whole situation, but to my surprise, she started crying and told me she was sorry. The gist of it is as follows. I will try to be clear about it. I asked her why she had not just come to me to make a plan about raising money. She said she was just upset we could not afford it, and she admitted she should have come to me. I apologized for not following up with her and just assuming, which she acknowledged, but she also insisted she is mature and could also have come to me. I then asked her why on earth was she lying about not being able to afford food, and told her that was a pretty serious thing, as someone could have called CPS on us.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
She started crying again and said she was sorry and that she knew it was wrong, but she just really wanted to be able to afford the trip. Where are they going on this trip?
Yeah, I
What
don't
is this
know.
trip? I really want to know.
I don't
Is
know.
it like
It's
you
just
going to
Disneyland.
Paris or something? Like, what is this?
I think it's just a state.
Like a national park.
Yeah.
I really want to go to Yellowstone. Please.
So bad. I heard the bison there. Mommy, please.
Please, I just want to see it. All my friends are going. She begged to be able to use the money to go on the trip, but I told her that we could not do that. That was scammed money. I then told her that she should give it back, but that I would sell some stuff in the home. The money I get from that, plus the little bit I saved already, should hopefully be enough to cover her trip. She started crying again and thanked me. We then had a discussion about the time I spend with her, and I apologized for not being able to spend as much time as I would like. She said it was okay, but I am still going to try to figure something out. I cannot afford to cut hours, but maybe something else. In the end, I hugged her and asked her if she wanted to have a mother-daughter day at the park this weekend on my day off, which she gladly accepted.
Nice.
I told her in the future if any situation like this ever arises, she just needs to come to me for help and we will figure something out.
She's manipulating the situation.
She got what she wanted. She's a genius.
She's 13.
A genius 13.
Not buying it.
My bangs are banging, Nina. Yes, thank you. I will always accept a bang compliment. You can ask Sophia. I've been complaining all day
It's
about my
true.
You just deleted it.
I don't know what you're talking about. Lock in.
Okay. There will not be any need to lie to people to get money out of them. She agreed and apologized again. By the way, you will never have to apologize if you listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app and just type in OK Storytime.
Woo!
There's a little bit left.
Sure is. Your daughter's a scam artist, but it seems like you got through to her today.
Overall, a very productive discussion. I am just glad that she realized the lying and guilting was wrong and took accountability for it. So now I am going to do my hardest to get her on the trip. I will even borrow money from family members if I have to.
That's so
Is that
funny.
the same thing?
No, not if OP's like, actually, I think it would be even funnier if OP went to the family members and was like, we're starving. We need it. We don't have any money for anything. We don't sleep at night. And then she just does the same thing as her daughter.
Come here, my little one.
Come here.
Sit on mommy's lap. Aw, stop. It's so cute. La 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 la. Nee, 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 nee. She was very receptive to what I was saying, despite some of the commenters in the last thread telling me she was going to cut contact as soon as she turned 18.
Those commenters were weird.
That's so much.
Yeah, weird commenters.
That's crazy. Not really sure why people kept making judgments based on assumptions that were untrue. I do not hate my daughter. My daughter does not hate me. What? What is happening?
My daughter does not hate me. I do
Oh.
not hate my daughter.
We like each other.
I was not trying to punish her for telling people we could not afford the trip. I would have preferred if she did not broadcast our financial situation like this, but if she had got the money from telling the truth, only that we could not afford the trip, I would have still let her use that money to go on the trip. I just did not want her to go on a trip with money she got dishonestly. I agree.
Agreed.
Anyways, I do not expect any further updates to happen, and I am ready to consider this matter closed.
Yay! Yeah, yay! Anyway, that was a great story, and I'm glad you figured it out. Bye.
Bye.
Bye now.
Well, that was the end of that story.
I want to give away my blind daughter's cat.
Just because it can't see?
I am 34 and a parent of 5 kids, including my daughter, 14. Let's call her Zia. She is legally blind and loves all animals. For her 13th birthday, I gifted her a kitten. By the way, this comes from True Story in the North, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit, where this story comes from.
They're one of us. So, the daughter's blind.
The daughter's blind, not the cat.
Interesting. So, she wouldn't know
She wouldn't know.
if you got a new cat.
Well, I don't think they want a cat at all. I'm Sophia,
I'm Riley.
and we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments and whether or not you would get rid of your blind daughter's cat. Opie says, we already had 2 cats, a mother cat and her 1 kitten who was 3 years old at the time. My daughter absolutely wanted a cat for her birthday, but it was not this cat. I figured maybe a kitten would be better than the one she loved to visit at the shelter, who was a few months older. I realized it was the wrong move and have apologized to her for choosing a younger cat when her heart was set. The other cat has since been adopted. No going back now for this mom of 5. Some backstory. She has a lot of attachment issues, social anxiety, depression, and separation anxiety. The big one, her father was an on and off again father who left us when she was 3. She missed him a lot. He absolutely loves her, but slowly went from a small amount of contact to now almost none. I do not ask for support. Maybe that is my pride talking. And I do not feel I have needed it anyways. I have asked him to call her or spend time with her. He would game with her on a rare occasion before. Me and him met online, and he lived, then and now, 27 hours away in another province. He's only visited her once since we broke up. She is torn, but also getting older and realizing if he wanted to, he would. Second big hit. Her best and only friend passed away from a tragic night. She has never been the same since. She longs for love and friendship, but is scared to trust again. She currently has no friends that are not online friends. 3rd time's a charm. She is legally blind, does not like to be touched, but loves to cuddle her animals. I got her a hamster the day she found out about her best friend passing, but that hamster is also gone after only a year or so. She is heartbroken all over again, as she gave it the same name as her late friend. Oh, get her like a tortoise, please.
Or a lobster.
How long do lobsters last?
114 years.
Yeah, get her a lobster.
Yeah. Also, Great movie.
Haven't seen
Lobster.
it.
It's a dystopian movie. You like dystopian movies?
Sometimes.
Like
Isn't
weird
that the one
dystopian?
where they like turn it into a lobster? I've heard about this.
Yeah, it's crazy.
From you. Some more small info about her and the family. My brother passed away, and I'm raising my late brother's children. I had to keep my daughter homeschooled for a year as her school did not tell me she would go to school and sit in the hall and cry the whole day away. That went on for 4 months before I was notified. Bad school. Such a bad school. She has since started high school with no friends, but she finally is out in public again and talking to me about her feelings. We had a dog too, but we needed to give it away after only a first year of being a first-time dog owner. I realized a husky was not a good mix, and my kids were scared of her high energy. OP,
Yep.
we're going through animals too quickly.
Yep.
We have too many animals.
Um,
We should not be adopting a dog and then getting rid of it, adopting a cat, then getting rid of it.
Yeah.
The solution should not be to get her more animals every time something terrible happens.
Well, it worked for Snow White.
Yeah, but those were like free range.
So get free range animals.
Yeah.
Move to the woods where at any point your blind daughter can be
Snow
know,
White.
talking or singing to animals.
That's true. I have been married for 7 years and recently divorced and gotten into a new relationship. They live with us and now come to visit or take the kids out to events around town. We've had to let go of a lot of things and grow in ways I could not expect. She has a very specific blindness that is genetic and will not ever get better or worse. But all that said is the main causes I could think of where I have been the only stable person in her life. Now to the cat.
That is a lot of backstory there.
Yeah. A lot of instability in this poor young girl's life.
All right. So, cat's going to come in. It's going to love lasagna.
Yeah.
It's going to be orange
Hates Mondays.
and hates Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm hoping this cat does
Yeah. And we can't just get rid of the cat.
because it hates Mondays.
You know, you can't do that.
Just feed it lasagna. It'll be
It'll
fine.
be happy. The cat is now 1 year and 3 months old. Her name is Baby. Baby. My daughter's birthday is in September.
Sorry. I was just thinking of like a Baby Driver edit.
I also was thinking of a Baby Driver edit. That's so funny.
We probably sold the same one.
Probably. It's like,
What happened to that guy?
Baby?
Or the Ansel.
Oh, he got in, like, there was some sort of scandal.
Oh. Is he still acting?
I don't know.
I saw him in one Hulu show that
There
looked
was a
pretty
pretty
good.
big scandal.
Pretty big?
I don't know.
Like, you know about it?
I heard about it.
I'll
I don't
look
remember
it up.
exactly what happened.
He was such a good actor. I liked him in West Side Story too.
Yeah.
But now he's probably done something horrible and I can't like him.
Yeah, it's tough. Actors just stop doing that stuff. So it was the perfect time to get a small kitten. So I thought. This cat was so small and cute to start with. Since she has gotten bigger, more and more issues have been coming my way. I cannot cook without her coming in and meowing. Normal, I know, but that is where normal ends with this cat. I have had more than 10 cats in my lifetime. She will jump on the stove while I'm cooking to try and steal food. Yes, she has a food dispenser and it is always full. Saw food? Yes, every day for that too. She runs outside, and when I say she's fast, I mean I cannot catch her at all. She does not want to be picked up or cuddled or really anything to do with humans. She has started digging in my trash, the small bins around the house that do not have lids, and knocking them over to find food. She has started stealing food off the counters while I'm trying to make school lunches. There are no cafeteria lunches here. I have to make all 5 lunches for the kids every day. She got pregnant and now has 5 kittens in the last 3 months. OP, why didn't we have her spayed?
Yeah.
The thing is, when you get a cat, you really have to make sure that you're fully focused on, like, you know, working on the connection between humans, like getting it, what's the word? Used to humans? That's not the word I'm looking.
Domesticated.
Well, just like you want them to be friendly and stuff. So you want to make sure that they're comfortable around humans and that they're used to them. And
I don't
you're
know.
constantly, like, introducing new stuff to them so that they get kind of desensitized.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't seem like there was a lot of that here.
No.
And also, we didn't spay them. Why didn't we do that?
I think when I was like 3 or something, I had a cat and the cat loved me and let it, like, dude, I was not like horrible to it, but I'd like tug on its ears, tug on them and everything.
No.
And the cat loved me and just didn't care.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah. It was just like my best friend,
It's
apparently.
like, that's okay. Ow. Oh, I don't mind. Ow. Yeah, keep doing it.
It never bit me or anything. It knew I was
that's
a
nice.
I was a kid.
Yeah.
I wish I had those memories. The other memory that I had was a cat scratched me once, and I didn't like cats after that.
I still have a cat scratch.
What?
A cat scratching me.
Which one?
This was when I was 10.
Oh, that's what that's from?
Yeah, it's from a cat.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Not that much of an issue to me. The kittens are awesome and starting on soft food and use the litter box, unlike their mom. Yes, this was a farm cat I got for free, and I will be giving away our kittens for free. It is the third time one of my cats, out of the 10 or so I have had since I was 15, have given birth. I know how to handle kittens and mamas usually. This cat has me stumped though. She'll pee on any towel on the ground, so I tell my kids, please pick them up. I got rid of my bath mats and now have a stone bath mat. Did that stop her from using it as a litter box? Nope. Any small article of clothing is a target for her. No clothes on the floor. She'll pee or poo besides the toilet on the floor. I need to keep all doors closed and not let her in rooms, but with 5 kids, they do not all listen so well. I am one person with already a lot on my plate. I'm going to hate baby. I wake up in the morning at 7 a.m. to start my day for 20 minutes before I wake kids, and the first thing I need to do is clean baby's mess. I have 3 litter boxes, scooped every 2 or 3 days, and completely dumped and cleaned every week before trash day. I have never had a cat like this before. No, I have never fixed any of my animals. I believe nature is nature as I am Native American. I know it would be wrong to give away this cat or drop it at a shelter, but I am at my end. Social services have been in my home since I got her, as a teacher heard my kid complaining about her floor too. Yes, the kid that I tell not to leave towels on the floor and does not seem to care complained a lot about the cat and smell. I get it, she's 13.
Okay. Well, okay, it makes sense about the animal thing.
Yeah, but I don't know, you can't really complain about them getting pregnant. I guess you weren't really, but...
You were explaining what was happening.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm just going to say it. I have a different relationship with animals growing up than everyone else does.
Yeah.
But if you believe that, nature should be nature and you don't want to spay your cats, then the cat should live outside.
Low-key, yeah. Which I don't believe, I don't think that cats should be outside just because of like ecosystem things, but I feel like that would be in line with what OP wants,
You got a cat.
Like I'm surprised that OP doesn't have an outside cat.
Yeah, and like if you don't have the accessibilities to live in a house or like you live in an apartment and it has to stay inside, but like which makes sense with you being Native American that you think this way, but like if I have a dog and a bunch of goats, it's going to stay out with the goats because that's its job.
Yeah.
To take care of the goats.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think that you should maybe get less animals.
That would probably help.
I even asked my daughter if she would prefer to keep one of her kittens instead. She has not wanted to answer me. And I know it's because my daughter is attached after she's committed. She doesn't like to change or replace anyone. My daughter is blind, so she also does not clean up after herself the best. And this cat is eating her food without her knowing or stopping her, then vomiting places. I already have to clean after 5 kids and left my ex-spouse because of the lack of them helping with the house too, and other things. This is the cat my ex-spouse recommended, picked up, and brought to us. I feel I have replaced one extreme with another. I am struggling to keep my house clean and my sanity, but I need solutions. I also feel if I did get my female cat spayed, it would not change her behavior too much because she loves running outside. Oh, so she is an outside cat.
Okay. We guess must have not like saw that. Sorry.
Well, no, we're just finding this out.
Oh,
now.
we're just finding this out. Okay, so we're not idiots. Great.
No. And sunbathing and doing her own thing. I hate my independent mother cat with a passion, but do not want to upset or hurt my very emotional and traumatized teenager. I know it was my choice to bring this cat into my home, but she doesn't seem to listen or care about anything, and I have trained many cats fine. I do recognize this is her cat, not mine, even though she's young and I knew she could not take care of it the way an adult would. I just did not realize what would be on my plate. But I hope you guys realize that you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Any final thoughts?
Simple. This is the solution here. Cats go crazy on the internet. No matter, what you do, they make money. That's what they do. Get them a little GoPro vest.
Yeah.
Have them go out and about, wrecking stuff, doing whatever. You chasing them.
People love that.
People love that stuff. And dude, if it's out getting pound-towned, I know it sounds weird, but like I've seen edits of like cats going to Pound Town and stuff like that. Like small, it's like this, and then it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Dude, you could just learn how to edit.
Monetize your cat.
Yes, learn how to edit, learn how to get the footage. And if you're getting millions of hits and probably getting a couple $100, all this cleaning stuff's probably not gonna matter. probably be like, oh, great. It's making me money. It can do whatever now.
Yeah. Alternatively, you have to have a conversation with your daughter who is in high school. So she's old enough and say, hey, I cannot take care of, I know this is your cat. So either we need to find ways that work for you to like work with your disability where you can help take care of the cat. Or unfortunately, we're going to have to find a home for this cat. Yeah, but don't send it back to the shelter. Let's try and find another home.
I agree. Or let it live outside.
I mean, it already is. But there's a little bit left. I am in therapy and my therapist told me to focus on my bigger issues for now, like my relationships, parenting, and grief. So am I the a-hole if I give this cat away? Should I have asked her to choose between her cat or a kitten? Should I tell her I cannot keep it anymore? Is it too much for me? Do I ask her if she wants to choose who baby goes to? Do I keep her and bite my tongue? Do I pretend she ran away? Joking, I cannot do that to my kid, no matter how much I hate this cat.
Get a new cat.
I think we
cat.
don't get a new. They already have cats. I think that we talk to your daughter.
Oh, baby's a little different. Just make sure that it has the same texture. Doesn't really matter about the color of the cat. Just make sure it's the same texture.
Dang. Wow, brutal. I mean, yeah, I guess you don't get to pet that cat a lot because she doesn't like humans. I think you need to have a conversation with your teenage daughter who's in high school. She's old enough. Tell her what's going on. And then we don't get any more cats. Or you spay her, which I know you said now that you're thinking about, but you don't think that it'll change her behavior. I think it will change her behavior. It usually does. But you got either way, be honest with your daughter.
Yeah, dude. This is a part of life.
Mm-hmm. But that's the end of that story, folks. And we've got some comments.
All right. Show me the comments.
Comments from the video. I won't let my sister attend her own son's wedding. And this was posted October 2nd, 2025. TLDR, OP won't let his sister go to her own son's wedding after years of her drinking and ruining every big moment in his life. When she destroys the last thing he had of his father, Joey runs to OP for help. Now the family is angry. The sister is begging, and OP is ready to drag her out himself if she shows up. If you're curious to know the full story, you can go watch the full video. And we've got some comments.
Oh, lovely.
We've got a comment from Michelle Cottle, maybe. Story 1 says, good on OP for having their nephews back when it came to his mom. I was in a similar situation as a young child and had to cut my bio dad out of my life for close to a decade before they made permanent change. While I still love him, we're low contact due to neglect and from his alcohol problem. And we got another comment from Madra Alta who says, just wanted to add a comment on the first story. The body doesn't understand different types of loss. Grief is all the same. Whether you're grieving the loss of a loved one or the loss of a relationship, the human body treats grief all the same. You can even grieve the loss of the idea of something. If you think it's real, then the body believes it's real. That is an excellent point. And I think people, sometimes feel silly when they mourn something so deeply, even when that person didn't pass away. But, it's a good reminder to know that your body processes things weirdly and you can't always control that.
We need a
to
school.
Give yourself grace.
We need a school
school?
for emotions.
I agree.
For love emotions, mourning emotions, grieving emotions.
All the emotions, like inside out.
Yeah.
But a school of it. Another comment from bomb.com who says, loving someone should mean that you want to be stable for them. Yeah. Loving someone should mean that you want to put in the work to improve yourself and to be in, a stable place. John Davis says, the first story, as someone who lost their partner almost 2 years ago, I'm so sorry, I sympathize with the mother. I was useless that first year. My advice for OP is if they don't want mom there, someone should be assigned to babysit her, i.e. someone to take her somewhere out of town that she likes and spend the day drinking with her and letting her cry. It's what I wanted, and someone to keep me from self-harming. Mom is hurting. And maybe that's what she needs. She just needs a companion. But that is the end of that comment section and the end of this episode.
I hope you all enjoyed this.
I hope so.
We had to kick Savannah out on the last one because we just couldn't deal with her anymore.
Yeah, she was done.
Please leave. We'll
No,
take
we're
it from
just
here.
kidding.
I'm not.
But that's the end of that episode. So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We freaking love you.
And see you tomorrow.
Hey, don't leave yet. I know you got more chores and we got more stories. So stick around.
My grandmother tried to take advantage of my father's disability, but it never worked in her favor.
You couldn't even do it right.
So the important people in this story: grandmother, E.G., grandfather, G, father, F, aunt, A. Also, by disability in this story, I'm talking about disability insurance. The setting is Arkansas and Oregon.
Ooh.
And by the way, this comes from User Historical Essay 695, and you can submit your stories on the r/okstorytime subreddit. So, the story. In 2018, my father quit his job at a warehouse store because his 12-hour shifts walking on concrete floors had destroyed his legs. This made us lose over 2/3 of our income. I was 12 or 13 at the time, so there wasn't much I could do, nor my sister, who was only a year older. From that point forward, he went to file for disability since that was the only way he could get us income, while in the meantime, my mother ended up being the breadwinner of the house with a measly $40,000 a year. The doctors kept refusing to scan his legs, so he had a hard time getting disability insurance. He had to use a cane, and still does to this day. It was devastating, but $40,000 a year for my mother was enough thanks to one thing. I know what you're thinking. How did we survive as a family of 4 for $40,000 a year? Well, our grandmother actually owned the house we lived in, so we weren't paying a dime for the house.
That's good.
Which lifted a lot of weight off our shoulders. My father tried and tried again, but the doctor scanning his body would not scan his legs, keeping him from successfully getting disability money.
Why not?
I don't know. That's
I
like,
don't get that.
again, this is like the craziest thing to me that I've just recently been made aware of, that like you can't just like walk in and be like, do this thing.
No, because you have to get a specialist. Like the doctor has to refer you to a specialist, and it's like if you don't have the referral, you can't get that.
Yeah, and
which
even
is
then they can be like,
crazy.
no,
It's
no.
insane to me.
no, I don't think so. And there's just nothing you can do about it. Crazy. Somewhere mid-2020, he got rejected when he first applied for disability because his education could get him a job. He was a high school dropout, mind you. This pissed him off since he could not get any income whatsoever, and he hated that. Anyways, so during this time, my sister, with the help of my grandparents who lived in Oregon, went to Oregon for a few weeks. At the time, my grandparents' house had grandma, grandpa, and my aunt, and when she got back, she was giving the hint that she did not want to go back. According to her, everything was covered in mold, was greasy, and apparently everyone who lived there had some sort of hate towards each other. Mainly grandpa and grandma versus the aunt. Aunt and grandpa smoked, so grandma already had a distaste in them, but she didn't want to cause a scene, so she kept quiet. Mid-2021, and my grandmother made it quite clear that she planned to move down, saying sometime by the end of 2022. So we had enough time ahead to get a house of our own. Well, we thought so at least. After hearing this, my father, who had to walk with a cane, sadly, has to renovate the house with the help of everyone else, but since he had the most knowledge and skill, he pretty much did most of the work. This left him absolutely destroyed, and he managed to replace a tile floor, an entire exterior wall, a very large fence, and insulation in the ceiling. I did as much as I could, but I tried to help at the least. Remember when I said my grandparents owned the house we lived in? Well, she decided that in mid-April, while we were still working on some stuff, with a 3-week warning that she was moving down from Oregon and everything
Whoa.
better be gone.
Whoa, wait. So the grandmother who had given them this house is just like, okay, bye.
Yeah, she goes, bye, you have 3 weeks. I'm coming down from
Bye.
Oregon. Bye.
You and your kids better be out of the house.
Bye. 3 weeks. 21 days. Bye. 21 days. Get out. Bye.
Villain.
So, grandfather wouldn't tag along since their Oregon house still needed someone to be there and he wasn't retired yet. The aunt was not trusted alone there since she wouldn't even be there half the time, so he had another reason to stay. Anyways, grandma was pretty much kicking us out, but her plan was more complex. She wanted to take control of us since she knew we wouldn't be able to purchase her house with only $40,000 a year or purchase a house with only $40,000 a year. She wanted us to come begging to allow us back in the house so she would have absolute control over us, as she knew we didn't favor being homeless. She knew my father didn't want to just abandon everything he had worked on since he never got a second to enjoy it. She knew me and my sister wouldn't be able to get jobs since we had a huge workload with both school and the house. We all knew that, and she knew that would be our fate, or so she thought.
Oh, so she was
Ooh.
trying to cast you out. She was trying to make it hard
She
for
was
you.
trying to make you sign the Nosferatu agreement.
Mm-hmm.
That would
Just like,
make you
have to sign
beholden
it.
to her shadow. You're in the shadow of the Nosferatu. You do not wake, you do not sleep. You only act as a puppet for the Nosferatu man.
Yeah, you think that you're signing like a real estate agreement with your grandma, but it's actually divorce paper.
My father had actually successfully gotten disability a few months prior and kept his bonus for a situation like this. But for more of a tornado-based reasoning, since Arkansas had gotten quite a few tornadoes at that time. With just a week of searching, we successfully got a home about half an hour away and immediately got to work on moving in. My school used Google Classroom, so I was able to miss a couple days while still completing schoolwork. As we were completely settled into our new home about 2 weeks after finding said home, and I was there to listen, my father got a call. Guess who it was? It was the grandmother calling.
Dang.
So here's the back and forth between Grandma and father. Dad picks up. Grandma, so how are you guys? Sitting in the homeless shelter or maybe a storage unit? Clearly waiting for a yes. Father, my dad laughs his tookus off. Well, we actually got a home within the time frame, and we don't have to go under your rules, as we all know your plan. Grandma says,
What do you mean? You can't afford such things. Your family makes somewhere around $40,000 at max.
Take a guess at who got disability benefits. 10 seconds of silence. Oh my God, 10 seconds of silence sounds a lot longer than 10 seconds.
That's a long second of silence.
Wow, okay. And then the grandma continues.
You get a house or not. Your needs to finish renovating this place. From what I can see, oh, this is so long. There is still some missing insulation, and you can't even finish my bathroom. Also, how dare you hide your disability from me? I am Nosferatu, your mother. I should be the first to hear such.
Had you given us the time, that could have been done by now, but no, we had to be gone by 3 weeks. Also, what do you mean hide my disability? It's been clear I've walked around in a cane for 2 or 3 years. It was bound to happen. And then Grandma mumbles something and hangs up. Okay.
Woo-wee!
So the Oscar goes to Sophia for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
A couple weeks later, she settles down to Arkansas as everyone acts as if nothing happened. But Grandma decided it was time to make an attempt at manipulating my father to get him to continue working on the house, as it was nowhere near done. He didn't have much to do, so he accepted, knowing he would be in 3 days of pain.
And today was the first day.
And today is the first day of your pain. Since he had to walk with a cane half the time, he knew he would be in pain. But she tried this again and again, but we kind of ignored it after a while, until one day at around 11 a.m., she tried to get my father to work on the roof rather than care for my sister who was in the hospital. On the phone call, she acted as if her house was more important than my sister's heart rate, reaching 213.
I think it's been clear throughout the whole story that she thinks her life is more important than everyone's life.
Yeah, clearly she's the
villain.
She's the commander.
She's the plague on the city.
You are all puppets attached to her strings. Did y'all not get the memo on that?
Yeah, did you not receive the memo? It was supposed to be sent out.
Yeah. So he then explained the situation thoroughly so she knew what was going on with my sister, but she decided her own life was more important than hers and tried to brush the situation off. The conversation ended badly, but she was digging herself a hole, not us. She really wanted to go back to Oregon at that point. After the small argument with her, Grandpa called my father up with the sake of not getting divorced from Grandma, that he was removed from the will, clearly not knowing the full story. This was one of Grandma's plans to get us to beg again, but they didn't really have much, as it didn't really affect us. Now, yes, they still had the house in Oregon and did not plan to sell it anytime soon, but she had already bought down some heavy stuff like her tractor. Yo, you flew the tractor down?
I need the important stuff like the tractor.
Wow. So it was either she sells it or she stays, and she's held for a little bit. She made her decision after having to spend Christmas alone, since no one in Arkansas who had a social connection to her, pretty much my family, liked her. She realized that her assertive personality was catching up to her, and that was that. And by the way, you know what is that?
What's that?
All of that
What's that?
and more.
What?
The full episodes with stories like this that you can listen to at your heart's desire. All you got to do is go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you consume podcasts, and search OK Storytime. That's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
And then you are in it.
It's just shocking to me how like the grandma is like so villain that she's trying to make her family homeless
Yeah, it's like, I don't...
and is upset that her plot has been foiled.
Yeah, she was like doing the phone call and being like, so where are you guys at? The homeless shelter?
But what I don't get
It's like, what?
is that she let them live in the house. So like what? Because someone in the chat, Katara Rain says, was the grandma always like this? Because I'm like, she let them live in the house, which is a big thing to do. So what's the switch up?
I don't know. I think they said that she's kind of always been like this.
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't
But
know.
it's like,
But she let them live.
got the house in Oregon, and then the
in this
other
in the
sister
house.
was like, yeah, that place is a mess. That place is a design. That place is looking like Count
Mm.
Orlok's first house,
Yeah.
secluded in the shadow of the
And also
mountain.
kind of his second house.
And yeah, low key, the second house was not any better than the first
Yeah.
house. We soon heard that the aunt was kicked out after Grandma returned to Oregon, and we believe it was because Grandma had to yell at someone, and we weren't there to get yelled at. She ended up getting an apartment, but she didn't talk to them anymore, as far as I'm aware. And that is as far as it's gotten so far. In the meantime, I started 11th grade as a 15-year-old last fall, and currently going to finish it up soon. Grandma is coming back down to Arkansas this spring break, so I will update if there's enough crap going on, as I'm sure she's going to try to do something. I hope I don't jinx myself saying that. Also, I'm not on Reddit too often, so don't expect responses from every comment.
Wait,
either.
okay.
And that
You've
is the
been
end of
15
that
the whole
story.
story? And also you're going into your junior year of high school at 15?
Yeah, 15 smart cookie,
That's crazy.
advanced grades.
That cray.
This could be someone who we've talked about in other stories.
Ooh.
So we've talked about some stories about like,
Smart
oh,
cookies.
my kid's gonna get sent forward. Should they? Shouldn't they?
Classic.
Maybe.
Classic story.
Maybe.
My ungrateful grandmother disregards hygiene, so we kicked her out. Stinky lady.
Ooh, stinky lady gotta hit the curb. Sorry, stinky lady.
And trigger warning for hoarding and unsanitary conditions.
Oh boy.
My grandmother is, shall we say, a stubborn person. Normally, the stubbornness would manifest itself as wanting to cook a meal a certain way, even if she isn't the one cooking, or simply not backing down about a disagreement until she hears you say she's right and you're wrong. Aggravating stuff, but for the most part, we get along because I saw her in small doses. By the way, this comes from Found Carcosa, and you can share your stories on the OK Storytime subreddit. I'm also her only grandchild, so she was thrilled whenever I would come visit, and that largely outweighed any clashing we had. I got the sense it was also because she felt determined to have a good relationship with me after screwing things up with my mom, her daughter. Long story there, and it's not mine to tell, but she went no contact with my gran in high school and only reconnected with her after I was born. But things always remained tense between them. Anyways, things began when my grandmother's lease went up and she didn't want to renew it, so she moved out of her apartment and in with us. This was not an arrangement any of us were looking forward to, mainly because my parents have been trying to move out of our house since they bought it 2 decades prior, and also we all knew prolonged exposure to my gran without a way to escape would cause problems.
There are just some people who need an escape route. You
It's-
need an escape path
Yeah.
away from them.
It's like you can talk to them in small bursts, but if you're with them all the time, it's like,
I need to get back to my dirt and go to sleep.
But she's family, and even if none of us were psyched about it, we're the only relatives she has, so we did the right thing and took her in. She was also not very excited about it because it meant she would be giving up an entire living space she'd been accustomed to. Living with her rapidly became difficult. She is, put plainly, a slob. She would
Oh.
carry a box of tissues with her everywhere, and when she used the tissue, instead of throwing it out, she would jam it wherever she was sitting. Gross. So our living room sofa quickly became a snotty mess. Yeah. She would take food upstairs and never bring it back down. More than once, our kitchen was entirely empty of silverware, bowls, plates, etc. We had to go upstairs and remove all the moldy, crusty dishes and take them downstairs to be
Gross.
washed before we could use them. We asked her multiple times if she could help by just taking one dish down with her whenever she used the stairs. She would smile, nod, and then just not do it. Her bedroom looked like an episode of Hoarders because she used an ungodly amount of tissues and would fill entire entire trash bags with them.
How much snot is this
She got
person
a
producing?
snotty nose.
Is she even producing anything out of it? It's just like a Pavlovian response.
Yeah.
She's just trained. Throws it
Guess
away.
so. And that's not even counting the endless magazine subscriptions. She would also drink excessively. I used to run out to the store and get her favorite bottle of wine at her request. And she quickly graduated to drinking an entire large bottle in 1, sometimes 2 days. It got to the point that my parents and I had a mini intervention and told her point blank that we would not get her anymore. She started getting it delivered to the house online.
Grandma
Drats.
learned how to use the internet to get her wine.
One problem that affected me specifically was her radio. Her bedroom was next to mine and the walls had no insulation, so sound carried over easily. And she would blast the radio all through the night, preventing me from getting any sleep. Multiple times I would creep into her room at night and turn it down, only for her to suddenly wake up and turn it back on.
She's like a cartoon,
She's like,
The radio, it's off. Do not touch my programs. I need them to sleep.
Whenever I confronted her about it, she would get angry and say I should accommodate her being hard of hearing and that I need to compromise, as if waiting until 2 a.m. to try to turn it down wasn't compromise enough. I bought her headphones as well as a special pillow with a speaker inside it so that she could better hear the radio without needing to turn it up so loud. She never even opened the box. The spoiled food problem eventually got so bad that there was a permanent smell. Ooh. And when she found bugs in her room, she freaked out and blamed it on the house, which
Yep.
was a face lie
Yep.
because my dad had gutted and remodeled the entire house with his bare hands. It was bought originally as a fixer-upper, hence why they were planning on selling it. Also, literal piles of rotting food tend to attract insects. Who knew? She eventually developed pneumonia and also blamed that on the house, even though by this point she wasn't leaving her room and hadn't bathed once. Ooh, in the 6 months she's been living with us. At that point, that is a medical thing, and you should take her. To
Yeah,
help.
no, that's-
She needs help. That's really bad.
Yeah.
That is a medical thing, and she needs help.
Yeah, that's beyond your ability to
Yeah,
care for.
no. She even got my dad to screw metal handlebars into the bathroom wall tile so she could use the tub, but never use them once. She was prescribed medicine for the pneumonia, but would not take it, eventually requiring a nebulizer because of how severe it got. I think it actually might have transformed into something worse, but I can't remember the name. You need to take her to a hospital. 2 or 3 times she had to return to the hospital because her condition worsened, despite everything we did to keep her room clean and make sure she took her medicine. When this happened, we would pull all the furniture out of her bedroom and scrub the carpets, remove any mold and bugs, and pick up any trash and rotting food. Instead of being grateful or changing her habits, she would be upset that we touched her belongings and violated her privacy. The damage that she was doing to the room also meant that selling the house was impossible, but her presence there meant the room would never have an opportunity to improve or be worked on. It was around the second hospital trip that she started taking the little trash cans we had scattered around the house and using them as toilets.
Oh.
For context, the upstairs bathroom is literally next door to her room. She couldn't be bothered to go to it. I vividly remembered picking up a plastic can and it being full of urine. She also had an incredibly old cat that she'd brought with her who was a sweetheart but would defile the room with her waste because my gran couldn't clean the box herself. I'm definitely forgetting more things she did, but one thing I remember was my parents had gone away from the weekend and my boyfriend at the time came over. We ordered Indian takeout, which I knew my gran loves, so we offered to get her something as well. She took us up on it and my boyfriend paid for it despite my protests. We gave her her food only for her to call us back a few minutes later. She told my boyfriend that the rice in the takeout was the wrong kind and that she would not be eating it. Could he please take it away? I was flabbergasted by the rudeness of it all. My parents scolded her about how inappropriate that is to act that way, especially towards someone who isn't even a relative, but she tuned them out. Not once did she say thank you, not when we cleaned her room or brought her groceries or cleaned up her waste. Nothing. My mom wanted nothing to do with her and my dad wanted to help but was too busy with work to really do anything, and even he reached his limit when her lifestyle began to damage the house. I was the most sympathetic to her, but she would summon me and ask me to do things, then send me away as if she were dismissing a servant. Even when I called her out on it, she didn't express any gratitude. I fully believe that she was exhibiting a textbook case of Diogenes syndrome or senile squalor syndrome because
Yes.
all of the behavior matched.
So yeah, Diogenes was like a guy who lived in like the markets in Greece, and he was like he thought it was like poverty and stuff was like the ultimate, was like the absolute virtue.
Oh, he's like
He was
ascetic
like a
lifestyle.
contemporary of Plato. It's like Plato would say some stuff, and then Diogenes would show up and like dunk on him, and then like go back to being homeless in the market. Like
Live your
he
life,
was
I
a
guess.
character of a guy,
Live
but he
your
was
life.
known to be quite dirty.
she was depressed about not having her own space anymore. We were sympathetic to that and tried to get her out of the room many times, but she fought us every time and would refuse to admit her behavior was unhealthy. When we would point out how ungrateful and rude her behavior was, she would get defensive and end the conversation. She needs psychological help. At the very least, she needs some sort of cleaning service or in-home nurse aid, but she refused the idea of one every time it was brought up. Her behavior caused so much stress that the entire family was on edge and at each other's throats. It eventually reached a point where we admitted to ourselves that we were unfit to care for her because she needed professional help. We brought it up to her and she shut down the conversation so fast. I understand not wanting to go to a nursing home. I don't begrudge her that, but she would insist that she was independent when the fact was that if we ignored her requests, she'd be unable to fend for herself. She told us her solution was to keep things as they were. As long as we did things for her, she could take care of herself, because that's definitely what independence is. It was like talking to a brick wall. One day, while everyone was out of the house, we received a call that she had tried to go down our stairs, fell and broke her back. The fall was not lethal, nor would it cause any permanent damage, which was a relief, but it meant that she would require lots of physical therapy and caregivers. The hospital assigned her a social worker, I think because of the care she would need, but she refused them by citing that her family, us, would take care of her needs. And that's when you say, no.
Can't do it.
No. You say, no, we need the social worker.
Literally am unable to do that.
My father and I work full time, and my mother has a slew of health problems and chronic pain that made it difficult for her even to look after herself at times. The idea that all three of us, even if we weren't fed up with her, would be able to drop everything and take care of her was as hilarious as it was insulting. When she told us that was her plan, we had become so embittered toward her that our decision was easier than it should have been. We removed all of her belongings from the house and put them into a storage unit that contained the rest of her items she moved out of her old place with. We called the social worker and told her in no uncertain terms that she would not be allowed to move back in with us and would need to find another place to live. She was furious. She sent a slew of emails threatening to sue for wrongful eviction. She didn't pay rent and signed no contract with us. Yeah, like there's no wrongful eviction here.
Oh, brother.
And theft of property because we had touched her stuff, but we technically returned it to her because it didn't belong with us, and my dad paid for that storage unit. Those emails stopped pretty quickly when it became clear she wouldn't have a case and wouldn't be able to intimidate us into letting her move back in. When she was discharged, she did go to an assisted living facility that the hospital partners with. She stayed there until she recovered, and despite everything being in the hospital environment and the care facility improved the rest of her health a lot. But instead of staying as soon as she was able to discharge herself, she did.
Oh, no.
She moved into a hotel and has been there since. I visited a few times to deliver some stuff that had been left behind. Each time I visited the hotel room was in a worse state. We're pretty sure she'd been refusing room service because she's embarrassed by it, but without anyone cleaning, it's become caked in mold, dirty cat litter, and unwashed clothes. It's been over a year now, and I shudder to think what that place looks like now.
Oh my God.
How is that legal?
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like there's a limit to how long you can live in a hotel. No?
No, you can
Really?
pretty much just pay to live there forever. It's like
Really?
paying rent. Yeah. Yeah. You're like, really? Oh, new life hack unlocked.
No, I feel like it's incredibly expensive.
Yeah, it is.
And you're just refusing free room service? She is like mental. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes
Mental health
Yeah, there's
crisis
just
there.
not a lot you can do sometimes when people are that stubborn and.
By the way, you can listen to full episodes with stories like this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app. Just search up OK Storytime.
It's probably so easy to just feel like terrible, like about it, but there's really not anything you can do, and it feels like the solution that has the best odds of actually helping her
Yeah.
is going to be the one that she probably wants the least.
Absolutely.
So
Well, she
then
just
you
doesn't
come
want-
to
she
the
doesn't even
crossroads
want
of
anyone
like,
to help her.
right? It's like so she doesn't want any help, but she clearly needs it. So what happens next?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what are you able to do? And then you just have to, I guess, make your peace with that
Yeah.
because, man,
Tough.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit left to the story. It's terrible, but at this point, we are basically just waiting for the call that tells us she's passed. I know that her age and mind are partial causes of this, but there's only so much behavior and borderline abuse you can excuse away with that. Family accounts from relatives that go back decades before I was born also confirm that this is just how she is and has always been. I moved in with my partner, and my parents moved to their dream home, and none of us have contact with her, and she has no one to blame but herself. I'm not sorry that she's essentially getting her comeuppance, but I'm not happy about it either. And that is the end of that story.
Not sad, not happy. You've been pushed to the point of being not sad by living with her for like a year
and
plus.
dealing with that behavior is really hard when you're trying to be there for a family member, but they're making it just so difficult.
Yeah, pretty much impossible.
Yeah.
My grandmother held grudges over something I couldn't control, so my brothers took revenge.
Oh no!
That's the grandma talking. This story is about my paternal grandmother, who I will call Miss Fuhrer. It takes place over the course of about 1 year in the blessed pre-vid times. Before we get into it, however, let's give you some background on Miss Fuhrer and my relationship with her. By the way, this comes from user VLNTNWBR, and you can submit your stories on the r/okstorytime subreddit. So, Mrs. Fuhrer owns 2 houses next to the school I attended before leaving my hometown to study at university. My dad used to pay me to do some chores around her house, which she wasn't able to do herself due to some disabilities stemming from long-term booze consumption. I've heard stories about her horrible behavior from different family members and know she was divorced 5 times. While working for her, I quickly realized how difficult she could be, but I always thought my family members were exaggerating. That was until this story happened. So let's get into it. Back in the summer of 2018, I was visiting my parents in my hometown. I had been living elsewhere for about 3 years at that point. I decided to visit Mrs. Fuhrer as I had a pretty good relationship with her back then. I was one of the few family members that was actively in contact with her for other than financial reasons, and she seemed excited about my visit as we hadn't seen each other in person for about a year. When I called her to set up the time and date, she asked me whether it was possible for me to borrow my mom's car, I don't own one myself, to help her pick up some furniture she wanted to add to a room for a live-in housekeeper. ICU. I cleared everything with my mom as I thought it wouldn't be much trouble. The day came and she picked up so much furniture it barely fit into the car, but everything seemed fine. I carried the furniture into the designated room through 3 very narrow staircases. It was a very old house in Germany. Afterwards, we had some coffee and cake together before I left. I then dropped off my mom's car and headed out to party with some friends from school whom I hadn't seen in a while. The next day was when everything began. At around 9 a.m., I was still slightly hungover from the great party the night before. She called me demanding to know where I was since I apparently agreed to help her assemble the furniture we bought. This was never agreed upon. She also demanded that I would bring the car again as she had forgotten to pick up some things the day before. The car, however, wasn't even in town since my mom, the owner, needed it that day and had already left. I tried to explain to her that the car wasn't available that day, that we hadn't agreed to me helping her out the next day, and that I was in no constitution to drive and build furniture even if I wanted to. I did offer to reschedule to another day that week, but she wouldn't have it. She couldn't accept that it was literally impossible for me to fulfill her request, and the debate got heated.
Really?
I don't remember specifics, but she tried to guilt trip me, which is when I snapped and told her that I wasn't her flying monkey here to serve her at her pleasures. She hung up after that, and I thought that would be that. Over the course of the week, I tried calling her several times since I still wanted to help, but wasn't able to reach her before I had to go back to my university town. Fast forward to Christmas 2018. I was back at my parents' place for the holidays, and the last interaction I had with Miss Fuhrer was the phone call I just described. On Christmas Eve, my dad told me that she would be joining us for dinner, as was tradition, and that she wanted me to pick her up. Now, due to my dad's job, it was up in the air whether he would be able to join us that evening. So he added that Miss Fuhrer would only attend if he was also there. In case he wasn't, I was just supposed to pick up the presents from her place. As it turned out, Dad had to work that night, so I just went and picked up the bag of presents. This was an ordeal in itself. I drove to Miss Fuhrer's place, parked in front of it, rung the doorbell, and waited for her to open. This could usually take a while since her house is big and she isn't the fastest anymore due to the aforementioned disability. After a longer time than usual, I called her landline to inform her I was there. She picked up and told me she was still in the bathroom and would be right there. It took her about 10 minutes to get to the door, which it usually takes 1, during which I was waiting in the snowy streets at -5 degrees Celsius, 23 degrees Fahrenheit for my American friends. When she came to the door, she handed me the bag of presents for my parents and brothers. She also asked me to wish everyone a happy Christmas and added that she was hoping I would enjoy my present. Ooh, I see you. She got a cold for Christmas.
She got a cold for Christmas?
She got a cold for Christmas. I think she gave her Christmas coal. So
I support that thinking.
I thanked her, said my goodbyes, and drove back to my parents' place to enjoy Christmas Eve. Evening had come. We've had dinner with my mom, her mother, a lovely woman, and my 2 younger brothers. We already had unwrapped most of the presents before dinner, as we usually do. All in all, a very pleasant and typical Christmas Eve for my family. After dinner, we've started drinking homemade mulled wine when I remembered I still had Miss Fuhrer's gifts and handed them out. Me and my brothers each received an envelope with a card in it, but suspiciously, mine differed in size and color. I opened it and read its comments. Now, this is where the fun begins. While my brother each received a complimenting message with 50 euros enclosed in the card, I received a scalding letter saying she was still devastated by my behavior the previous summer and that she was expecting an apology for the disrespectful way I had treated her. Now remember, her demands were literally impossible to fulfill. I'll admit I snapped and said something that could have been taken as disrespect, but continued to reach out wanting to help her while I was in town. I didn't really know how to react. I was speechless and threw the card on the table before going to grab another mug of mulled wine. When I got back from the kitchen, the older of my 2 younger brothers had read the card and loudly exclaimed something akin to, "What the actual F?" At that point, everyone had noticed something was wrong, and I read the card out loud. I don't remember the exact wording. I then told them about what happened during summer. Nobody could really believe how insane Miss Fuhrer was, especially since she had been quietly planning her revenge for about half a year. Also, gotta check myself. I did not. That improvised song was wrong because it wasn't last Christmas. It was last summer.
I don't even know who you are anymore.
Something cruel summer.
I don't even know who you are.
Is there a song about cruel summer? Or was that a
I don't
movie?
know.
Wasn't that Cruel Intentions? The aforementioned
Actually,
brother, who had some extra money due to a paid internship, asked the youngest of us 3 whether he needed the 50 euros and offered to pay it himself, as he wanted to take all 3 cards and throw them into Miss Fuhrer's face. My youngest brother refused the monetary offer, but loved the idea, so that's what they did. I don't really know what happened afterwards. All I know is that Miss Fuhrer was not expecting that reaction, as apparently no one in our family had ever stood up to her the way we did. This concludes the Christmas part of the story. We didn't really dwell on the topic for the rest of the holidays and still had an amazing celebration together. Now fast forward to the summer of 2019.
Summer of 2019. I don't have a song for that.
I had a summer 2016.
Summer of 2019. Yeah.
Summer, not stealing your card, coming to my house. We were so...
Okay.
All right, now we're going to keep going. My parents had planned a big family reunion to celebrate a couple of important dates in their lives coinciding, major birthdays plus a significant wedding anniversary. That party was the first time I interacted with Miss Fuhrer since the Christmas incident. I acted as if nothing had happened since I didn't want to cause a scene on my parents' special day, with most of our extended family being there. This is a rare occasion since the family is spread around the Western world, mostly Western Europe and the United States. We were together for about a week in my hometown, going to different dinner places every night, and had a great and memorable time. I even got along with Miss Fuhrer, albeit superficially, and only in group settings. We never talked one-on-one. One evening, we were having dinner at a really nice place, and she came over to the table me, my brothers, and my cousins sat at. They all know what had happened during the previous Christmas and were pretty angry with her. She asked whether I was willing to visit her one-on-one so we could have talked about what happened. I was happy to, as I don't like to hold on to grudges, but asked her that we talk at eye level like adults with mutual respect, as she had a tendency to twist the truth to suit her needs.
She steps on a chair and she's like, all right, we can talk now.
She's great. Yes, we can talk now that I'm 10 feet tall. She agreed and asked me to call her to set up a time and date after the week-long celebration was over. A day later, I received an email from Miss Fuhrer stating that she no longer had any interest in a conversation, as it was apparent from my demands that I hadn't grown and wasn't ready to apologize.
Oy, oy, oy.
It's like my demand that you don't stand over me like some sort of barn owl.
And hoot aggressively.
Yeah, and aggressively hoot at me while I talk.
Stop it.
Flapping your wings.
And going and turning your head 360 degrees.
Yeah, I really don't like that part. That part we could do without.
That's crazy, man.
Shout
Owls,
out,
what are you doing?
shout out owls. Like,
We're
Dude,
freaks.
no one's behind you.
No.
Relax.
No one's looking that way.
So she also wrote that she wasn't able to speak to me on eye level as she had much more life experiences than me. Again, I didn't really know how to process this. I still don't, but enough time has passed that I have stopped caring about my relationship with her. And by the way, I will never stop caring about your relationship with the full episodes of our podcast with stories like this. And if you want to listen to them, all you have to do is go on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts from and search OK Storytime. And there you will find the archives. And they are complete. You can listen to every episode. And now before we finish this story off, because we do have a little bit of story left, right?
This lady sucks. This lady sucks.
I wholeheartedly
That's my
agree
main-
with that take.
That's my main takeaway is this lady sucks.
Oh boy, does
Get her
this
out of your
lady
life.
stink.
Get her out of your life. You don't need her.
Yeah, guys, we can like cut people off.
2025 is about cutting people out of your life.
Yeah, 2025 is cutting all of the people who suck out of your life
Yeah.
without any excuses
Yeah.
or
No
you
ifs,
know,
ands, or buts about it. Get them out of here.
It's just the way it is.
It's just the way.
It's just the way it's got to be.
And ain't that just the way?
And ain't that just the truth? Ain't it a shame? Let's finish this
Let's
story.
finish the story off.
Up to this day, nothing has really changed about the situation. I've seen her a couple times at different family gatherings since then, and the interactions were fine, probably because neither of us wants to dig this crap back up during otherwise great family times. But the issue itself was never really resolved. So, yeah. That's the story about how I learned that the reported insanity of my grandmother, Mrs. Führer, was not exaggerated. It might be mild compared to other stories on here, and I'm very happy that I have the rest of my loving and supporting family to rely on. But it's still something that has changed me in a way, so I felt like sharing. I hope you enjoyed reading. And that is the
for the better.
end of that story. And yes, I think you can like leave your horrible grandma
Leave her
on the
in
outside.
the past. Leave her in
On
the
the outside.
dust.
on the outside looking
Drive
in.
her to the desert. Leave her there. Don't worry. There's water there. And there's a little town, and she's going to, get.
Don't worry,
Meet
if God's
the
light
locals.
favors her, she will find her way to water. Also, she's so old, she probably knows instinctually
She
where the
feels it.
water is.
And she's so
because
high
of
up
how
on her horse
experienced she is.
that she'll
And
figure
the
it
view from her high
Mhm.
horse allows her to see where water level truly lies.
out. But that is the end of that story.
It is, and don't leave your grandma stranded in the desert.
Don't do that.
But we're going to have to strand you because that
this
is
desert.
the end of this episode.
Yeah.
So,
We love you.
and see you tomorrow.